2, 1.
Good morning, you guys. It is Tuesday, right?
It is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. I have to remind myself. Tuesday, August 2nd. So RJ is headed to Uvalde, so we have David Sears stepping in.
Thank you. Glad to step in.
Thank you for joining us.
It's always a pleasure standing here next to you.
He means it.
It's the
He was
highlight
talking
of
about
my
it.
day and
All
probably the
right.
highlight of my week.
Settle down, settle down. Keep going. I'm just kidding. All right, so we have a lot to get to. Do you like going to the beach?
Love going to the beach.
I'm not much of a beach lover, but for beach lovers out there, this could be your dream job. How much can you earn documenting your travels with Hotels.com? They have a good gig.
That's pretty nice to get paid to hang out on the beach. Plus what you need to know about the first January 6th Capitol riot sentence. We're going to have that for you in just a second. It's the most serious sentence so far. Also, President Biden's latest move to address the monkeypox outbreak. But today we start with an update on the case and information surrounding the Robb Elementary shooting in Uvalde. KSAT 12 has joined more than a dozen other media outlets in a lawsuit seeking records from DPS concerning the shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. The lawsuit filed in State District Court in Austin. All right, so KSAT, as well as these other media outlets, are seeking emails, unredacted body-worn camera and other video footage, call logs, 911 records, other emergency communications, interview notes, forensic and ballistic records, and list of DPS personnel who responded to the shooting. Now, DPS is arguing that they cannot release the information because of an ongoing investigation. However, the group of media outlets argued that since the shooter acted alone and was killed at the scene, the investigation is for all practical purposes over. In part, the suit says, quote, DPS has offered conflicting accounts regarding the response of law enforcement, the conduct of its officers, the results of its own investigation, and the agency's justifications for withholding information from the public, end quote. And I think that's the most important part there. Again, I've spoken in the past about people and their comments on social media, let it go, let it rest, you know, this won't bring the children and the teachers back, but there needs to be accountability because if things can change, it could prevent another massacre of this magnitude from happening, and people need to be held accountable. A lot of things went wrong, and we still don't know exactly what those pieces of information are, and they're vital. And they're vital. The reasons you said, plus they're also vital for lessons we can learn. Absolutely. So this could be, hopefully, like you mentioned, prevented next time, so it doesn't happen again. But if you don't know what that information is, then you may not be able to learn a lot of stuff. And the held accountable and the responsible for what's going on. Of course, we know that the suit was just filed, so we're still like up in the air on how long it's going to take a judge to decide this suit and whether or not we will even be getting that information. But hopefully, the judge will release that information. Tell DPS that they got to let us have some of this stuff so we can see what happened. And we have an article right now on KSAT.com if you want to find out more information about this lawsuit. But staying with the topic of Uvalde, a heated city council meeting ended with good news for families of Robb Elementary victims last night. It happened in Hondo. City council revoked a rental agreement. Yeah, the event was scheduled for Saturday and organized by the Friends of the NRA. It's a group that describes itself as charitable, non-political, and separate from the NRA. The group had been granted use of city space. However, the city of Hondo received a lot of backlash. Anne-Marie Jo Garza's grandmother, Berlinda Arriola, saying, quote, it's not about what they represent, it's about courtesy and compassion, end quote. So Hondo City Council ended up revoking the agreement last night. The mayor of Hondo said the city reserves the right to revoke the rental agreement if it's in the city's best interest, which in this case, the majority voted that it was. However, not everyone was happy about the city council's decision. Hondo City Councilman Brett Williams said the event does not mean the group supports what happened at Robb Elementary. So we know that, sorry, let's listen in.
It's a slap in the face to all of Uvalde, especially the ones that lost a loved one, some of us being here today. What's an even harder slap in the face is the AR-15 you get if you donate $5,000 to the NRA. What you guys decide to do next with this NRA meeting either proves me right or proves me wrong about how I feel about Hondo.
So there you heard from a young lady, for her to be up there and speaking out. And again, this goes back to what Anne-Marie Garza's grandmother said. It's not really what they stand for. It's having compassion, and just the timing of this. You know, it's still too soon for the families, for the city of Uvalde. And, you know, these outcries grew over time, and they simply just didn't think that it was correct to hold an event of this kind so close to home.
I would imagine that if it would have happened a year from now, 2 years from now, that there wouldn't have been the same outcry. But the fact that it's just a couple of months away and it's basically right down the street, when you consider that Hondo is not that far away from Uvalde, that a lot of people are still grieving, still trying to come to grips with what happened. So can't blame the ones that are the families of those victims for not wanting this to happen that so close to home.
And I think a lot of it goes back to not having enough information, not having the right information of what went wrong. So there's a lot of feelings involved in this. And I know reportedly Waldman was in charge, you know, spearheading that story in Hondo. And at the end of the article that we have on KSAT.com, she did mention that she tried to reach out to several of the organizers for the Friends of NRA event in Hondo. However, those calls have since gone unanswered. They haven't answered yet. So
and you mentioned the information that we're still waiting on, and that was one of the reasons for one of those lawsuits. And it appears that by the fact that they're not letting that information out, that, you know, the question obviously is, what are they hiding?
Yeah.
What's going on with this that they don't want us to know?
I think that's gone through everyone's minds. Absolutely. Yep. All right, so now to the January 6th updates. Another person who took part in the January 6th attack on the Capitol is headed to jail for the longest sentence handed down so far for anyone involved.
Guy Reffitt was sentenced by a federal judge to more than 7 years in jail. Reffitt accused of bringing a gun to the Capitol and then threatening House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. He also decided to go to trial rather than take a plea deal. He was found guilty in March of 5 felonies.
And not only did Reffitt threaten Pelosi, he also threatened Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Before the sentence was handed down by the judge, Reffitt admitted that he was a, quote, blanking idiot.
Wow. So he took, 7 years, right?
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years.
80-something months. I think it's 87 months, something like that, 84 months, somewhere in there. So, and his family was in the courtroom when the sentence was read, and his daughter tried to speak up for him and say he's not really that kind of person at home, but the judge basically let him have it, telling him that, you know, he was trying to get a lot of attention, he was trying to, you know, and he said, that's why I'm an idiot.
I mean, and unfortunately, in these cases, right, actions speak louder than words.
But
all right,
that's the longest jail sentence so far from anybody that was involved in that.
Yet,
so
absolutely. All right, so concern is growing over the monkeypox outbreak, and now President Joe Biden will name a White House coordinator for monkeypox.
Robert Fenton is set to be the White House coordinator. Fenton served as FEMA's acting administrator, and he helped lead its mass vaccination effort for COVID-19.
They also appointed Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis of the CDC. He will be named his deputy. The White House said the pair will also be tasked with equitably increasing the availability of tests, vaccinations, as well as treatments for monkeypox.
Health officials say that the virus can infect anyone, and they've learned that the monkeypox virus spreads through prolonged and close skin-to-skin contact.
And that includes hugging, cuddling, kissing, as well as sharing bedding, towels, and clothing. And the U.S. currently has over 5,800 confirmed infections in Bexar County. I looked up on the website. They have a dashboard. The total case count sits at 13, but that number is as of Friday afternoon.
And I was looking, you know, they're talking about the vaccines and stuff, and I was looking, we've got a story on there that says the Metro Health has received 1,000 doses of monkeypox vaccine. That story's on our website, KSAT.com, and we sent that out as an alert. So there's 1,000 doses of monkeypox vaccine here in San Antonio. Metro Health holding on to that.
All right, now to some weather. We have Justin Horn joining us. Good morning,
Hello.
Justin.
So the question is whether or not it's going to get to 100 degrees.
It's not even a question anymore. It's just inevitability.
Yeah.
Did you not catch that one?
I saw weather.
I didn't think you were doing it on purpose.
Whether or not.
Is that considered a dad joke?
100%.
Okay. Thanks for that,
Or
David.
David's case, a grandpa joke, either way. It works.
Yes, he always sneaks it in there.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, Justin.
Yes. Well, he is a grandfather, so. We love you, David.
I got 3.5 of them.
You do.
Yeah.
You
Three
do.
and a half.
It's going to keep you
one
busy.
on the way. The fourth one's on the way.
Congratulations, by the way.
3.5.
Congratulations.
So,
right,
we're going
here
to
we
do a
go.
little bit of trivia.
Oh, here
we're
we
going
go.
back
Ready.
in time.
Oh, you got your own hurricane.
I was about to point that
Oh.
out. So
Wow.
since 1960, what is the strongest hurricane to hit Texas? We're talking wind speeds here. So your choices are Carla, which is back in 1961, Celia, back in 1970, Alicia, 1983, or Harvey in 2017. What do you think?
I wonder what it was like back in 1960, David.
I'm going
Hit
with 19.
Texas. I think I'm going with D. Harvey.
Okay.
I'm going with Carla.
Okay. David, coming in with the.
I mean, you would know. That is.
I was one when the hurricane hit.
Carla made landfall on September 11, 1961, with sustained winds of 145 miles per hour. Did a ton of damage. Celia was 130, Alicia was 115, Harvey was 130. Harvey was the costliest storm Kate ever hit Texas, but Carla, it did a lot of damage too.
Harvey's the one that hit the coast, backed up, and came back at us again, right?
Well, it did all sorts of things.
Yeah, Harvey was
It
unpredictable.
had the initial storm surge and wind, and then it dumped all that rain on Houston. But anyway, a little bit of history for you there, Carla.
Thank you.
1961.
Yeah.
Let's look at the tropics. If you've got any friends named Frank or Georgette, let them know. They've got some storms going right now. Tropical storm Frank is moving north into cooler waters. Georgette's falling apart. So we're not going to worry about that. That's out in the Pacific. They really haven't affected land at all. The Atlantic is still just incredibly quiet. We've got these waves, but notice none of them look all that impressive. And they haven't all this year, which is you haven't got that activity going yet. It will. It'll ramp up. Always does as we get later into August. But I think part of the reason is the dust. You know, we have that Saharan dust. We talk about it a lot moving into South Texas as well. We've got a plume coming off of Africa here. And what dust does is it tends to keep tropical activity from really developing. So as that dust makes its way across the Atlantic, I don't know that we'll see much here in the coming week. But if we are going to see some development, here is the development zones for August. Typically it's around the Lesser Antilles, so the islands out in the Caribbean. That's where we start to see stuff really pick up. And then you see the tracks across the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, and then sometimes they turn north into the Atlantic. So this is where we would be looking this time of year. And again, so far, not much out there. Today, not much to our forecast. You can probably guess what's going to happen. Mostly sunny skies, 100 by 3 o'clock. We're up around 102 by 5 p.m., 101, 6 p.m., mostly sunny and warm this evening with temperatures in the 80s and southeasterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. The heat index is going to be up around 103 here in San Antonio. So this is your feels like number with the humidity out there. 105 Castroville, 105 New Braunfels, 105 San Marcos. And I don't want to get too flippant about the heat because we're starting to creep back into that danger territory, and it's easy to kind of forget, oh, hey, you got to be careful when you're outside, but we're getting to that point. So just a heads up that the heat today and tomorrow especially is going to be in that range where you don't want to spend a whole lot of time outside. High pressure is the culprit here. It has been the culprit all summer long. It shifts back to the middle part of the country by the end of the week, and that's why we're seeing some heat. But there's also a little disturbance. Right now it's out around New Orleans. This rolls through Friday and Saturday, giving us a 20% chance of rain both days. It'll be isolated hit or miss stuff, but there is a chance there, and that should drag temperatures down a little bit, which is a nice bonus as we get into Friday and Saturday. So 103 tomorrow, 103 Thursday, 99 Friday, 99 Saturday with a 20% chance of rain. And then we're back to the triple digits Sunday and Monday, which is about to the point where we would be setting that record for most triple digit days in a year.
Red, red, red.
So the Saharan dust is not only choking us, but it's choking off hurricane activity.
It's what it does, and there's been quite a few plumes this year, but we need the dust to chill out so we can get some tropical activity. We don't want a hurricane in Texas. We don't want Celia or Alicia or any, well, Hurricane Alicia.
Hurricane Alicia, yes.
Be clear about that.
Please specify.
We just want like a tropical depression or something, some tropical moisture to give us
Good
some
tropical storm. That'll work.
That'll work.
All right.
Yep.
Not ranked, not named, just bring it on up.
Exactly.
Because, you know, it could affect the beaches. and it might infect somebody's employment.
The tropical?
Yeah, if we got.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we got this. That
Oh,
was my
I see.
segue
What
into
is
this
he
story. Wow.
Oh my, stick with us here, Justin. All right.
Wow.
Your
trying to
dream
follow.
job is out there. Here is your chance to get paid to travel to beaches. That was the connection there. You can travel across the U.S. thanks to a job posting by Hotels.com. Oh my gosh. All right, so they're hiring their first retro beach motelier. The gig offers $5,000. That's the salary.
That's not bad.
Well, that's not good. 5,000?
To just lay around on a beach? It's
But
not
you're
like
not doing, okay,
doing
so
anything.
stick with me. $5,000 for a salary, but you also get a $10,000 stipend to visit
Okay.
classic beachside motels. Plus, they're throwing in old school seaside accessories.
So you're up to $15,000.
and like free
And some
treats
accessories.
and
Yeah.
a Polaroid camera.
Is that one of those where
Yeah,
the little
they-
picture comes out of the bottom?
Yeah, come on. You know what a Polaroid, that's retro.
Wow.
That is retro, David.
It is
You
pretty
get
retro.
it.
They're pretty cool. The employee can bring along a friend.
Yeah.
See? And then the focus is
And
the
then?
highlight top rated. Oh, but here's what's weird. It's top rated 2 and 3 star beach motels. We're not talking 4 and 5s. We're talking just 2 and 3.
Yes,
So,
because
how are those going to look?
well, that's why. So why beach motels, right? They're nostalgic and they're budget friendly. That's what they're trying to
yeah.
push here. So
Oh, okay.
here's some of the requirements. You must be cool with spending a lot of time at the beach.
There you
Check.
go. Okay.
Not me, but you checked. Be a lover of vintage design. Are you a lover of vintage design?
Of course.
Okay, good vibes.
Got those.
Yeah, you got those. All right, no experience is necessary. Got that.
I got a little experience of just laying around on a beach doing
And
nothing.
then you must be at least 21 years old. Definitely got that one.
Got that one.
There you go. So you can apply. Hotels.com.
But you're not the big fan of the beach?
No, not really. Like, I don't dream about, oh, I want to go to the beach so bad.
What is it about the beach that keeps you from not dreaming about going to the beach?
It's far, first of all.
far?
It's far. A pretty beach. I don't know, it's just not my thing.
If you had an opportunity to go to, say, the Cayman Islands or a place in the Caribbean, you would go, nah, I don't like the beach?
No, yeah, I'd go.
Okay.
That one I'd go. All right. Well, thanks for filling in today for
I enjoyed
RJ.
it
Thanks for
very
stepping
much.
up. We appreciate it.
all right.
You guys, we thank you for tuning in. Remember, we have our podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a good day.
I'll see you back here at noon.